Folks, how are we doing today? It's Andrew down here at C. Harper Chevy, and it's an exciting day because behind me is the updated for 2025 Chevy Tahoe, and not just any Chevy Tahoe, but the entry-level LS model. Now, I want to show you the LS because there's probably already a bunch of videos online of the Premier, the High Country, even the Z71, the loaded up buys. But with this, I want to show you where we start in the Tahoe model lineup, show you what standard features we get, and you can determine whether it's a good value. So let's not waste any more time and hop right into it. And here is the beautiful sterling gray painted 2025 Chevy Tahoe. Now, the Chevy Tahoe obviously has been a staple in the Chevrolet lineup for many, many years, and of course will be continuing in the future here. Well, with this all-new Tahoe for 2025, I should say it's not all new, but thoroughly revised. So starting up front, of course, we have some updated front styling with this model. Our grille is has a little more height, a little bit larger, a little bit wider, and of course we have these all-new lighting elements for the Chevy Tahoe. So let's hit unlock. As you can see, we have our turn signals. It's a little more of a split design. It kind of reflects the rest of the Chevy model lineup as well. So we have our LED turn signals here. We have our C-shaped daytime running lights there as well, and of course our LED headlights as well on this model. I really like the look. It's still nice, big, bold, in your face, like a Tahoe should be, but it is updated, which is great. So, as you can also see on the front, even on this LS model, we do have our proximity sensors here for our... So even on the LS model here, you can see we do have our parking sensors here on the front and the rear of this Tahoe, which is very nice. Glad to have that, and some other safety features that I'll be showing you throughout the video as well. Now, as we come along to the side profile of the Tahoe, this is where you won't really see any changes on this specific vehicle. You know, the Tahoe was thoroughly redesigned for a couple years ago. This still looks nice and fresh. Real great look here. Of course, on our wheels, these are our standard LS wheels. You can get a couple other accessory options for this vehicle, but as far as other options on the LS trim level up, these are it, and I think they get the job done. They're just nice. I might want to say basic, but I mean, it's the entry-level LS model. Of course, you're going to have a little bit more of a smaller, basic wheel design. Now, coming around to the rear of the Tahoe, we're going to see some more updated styling changes, starting here with our tail lights. I'll insert, of course, a clip of the previous model's tail lights so you can see the difference between the two. But we have this really nice look and design here. I love how they break out our tail lights here with those little LED strips. As you can see, there is our lighting up as we unlock the vehicle. And then, of course, on the rear, we also have this kind of black plastic bar that runs from side to the side of each tail light on the driver's and the passenger side, really just kind of adding to a little bit more of a cohesive look on this Tahoe. I really enjoy it. Some people might miss the design with the kind of thinner chrome bar that you got on the previous model, but I really like it and think it is a great update for 2025. Now, of course, we also have two new available colors for the 2025 Chevy Tahoe. First being Cypress Gray, which is actually a very cool color. It's non-metallic, and it is a kind of a greenish gray, obviously, with Cypress in the name. And then we also have the very popular Lakeshore Blue Metallic, which is a gorgeous metallic blue that we've seen on many of our other vehicles, including the all-new 2024 and 2025 Chevy Traverse. Now, before we show you the all-new interior on the 25 Tahoe, let's talk about some of the standard safety features, because we have Chevy Safety Assist on this model here. You will be able to see it. We have some of our things hidden behind this little plastic square rectangle here, and our camera up there. So we do have our intelligent high beams, our automatic high beams, of course our lane keep assist, our emergency braking and bicycle and pedestrian attention. And then we also have blind spot monitoring standard on this LS model here. So if we move around to the mirrors, you will see our little figure here for our blind spot monitoring, and you will see cameras beneath both exterior mirrors showing that we do have our 360-degree surround view camera, which I will show more of on the interior. Now, taking a look at the all-new interior, of course, we do have our keyless entry system here. So here is our key for the 2025 model year. Same as the previous models, we do have our standard remote start as well, and our rear lift gate. You can just hit that via the button on the back or for the key. And then, of course, we do have the ability to unlock all 4 doors remotely with having the key in your pocket or in your purse by just hitting this button here and opening the door up. And as we take a step on the inside, this is probably the biggest improvement, in my opinion, for the 2025 model year Tahoe. So let's hop right into it. Now, of course, for the LS model, we do have our standard cloth bucket seats up here. Our driver's seat is an 8-way power adjustable model with our 2-way lumbar as well. Now, Tahoes, of course, have always been very functional vehicles, but now we are stepping up into the new millennium, as I call it, with this all-new infotainment system that is being spread across most of the Chevy model lineup. It has finally made its way to the Tahoe, and quite frankly, I think it is very impressive. But before we take a deeper dive into that, let's talk about the rest of the interior here. Because as you can see, with this new infotainment display and screen setup, we have generally a whole new look on the inside as well. So the instrument panel for the 25 model year Tahoe has been lowered a bit. So you have a little bit more feel of airiness, a little bit easier to see out of the vehicle, which I think is very nice to have as well. And then, of course, one of the other changes was on the previous version, we had our gear selector over here. Now it has moved to this little column thing that we pull up and push up and down here to select our 10-speed automatic with this model, freeing up a lot of available space in this center console area here. So of course, this has been redesigned as well. We have 2 very large cup holders here and this whole lot of storage space here. On other models, this will be a wireless phone charger, of course. We do have a USB-A and a USB-C charging outlet. We open up our center console, even more space, and also redesigned a little bit as well. We do have this removable tray and a very nice and deep storage area in there with another USB-C and USB-A charging outlet. Of course, also new on this model is our steering wheel design. Now, it matches much of the other steering wheels that are throughout the Chevy lineup before this 25 Tahoe came out. It's really nice, very nice and thick, leather wrapped, of course, standard on this LS model. We do have some controls throughout the vehicle here for our cruise control, of course, our low gear selector, and then some ways to change through our infotainment media and our driver's information display. We also do have paddle shifters behind the wheels here as well to control our 10-speed automatic. Now on the side here on the left of the steering wheel, we have a ton of controls. I'll just kind of briefly go over them, but we have some of our safety controls here and our engine automatic start-stop kill switch right there. Of course, our emergency parking brake, our headlight controls, and our dimmer switch, and our drive mode selector here with our 4-wheel drive system as well. So if you rotate this, it'll bring up our different modes. We have normal, sport, off-road, tow haul mode, standard on the LS model. And then looking throughout the rest of the interior here, of course, we have nice, real soft touch material throughout, kind of a little bit of a simulated wood grain, but it's not super in your face, and it's nice and matte finished as well, so it actually doesn't look super cheesy or chintzy, in my opinion. Now let's talk about our whole infotainment system that is new for the 2025 Tahoe. And once again, I just have to note how impressed I am with this system. It's really great that you're not really gatekeeping any of this. We don't have a smaller screen on this LS model here. All models are going to get this super impressive Google-based infotainment system, really nice large screen. But anyways, let's start out by talking about our 11-inch driver's information center right here. As you can see, all models will have this standard, of course. It's a really beautiful display, tons of information you can get on it. And you can cycle through a couple different settings. So we have a little more of a traditional cluster, as I would call it. Of course, we do have our oil and our trans temps there as well. So all of the crucial information can still be shown if you are towing with this Tahoe. And we have the ability to put up our standard Google Maps as well on this cluster. So you can have a ton of map space up, which is very cool. A little bit of a safety display right here, kind of shows you where our following distance is on this Tahoe. A real calm display, as I call it, where you're just showing our miles per hour. And then the display that I started at the top of this vehicle, where we have our media on the right and some information to the left of that. And now moving on into the infotainments here, we have a super large and impressive 17.7-inch infotainment display here. And of course, this does come standard with wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. So as you can see, we do have Google Maps integrated on this system here, which is very nice. And some of the best features that you can have on this system is the ability to use a voice control. So say you're driving your Tahoe and you don't want to reach over and put in a system, you can say, "Hey Google, give me directions to downtown Pittsburgh."
Downtown is 54 minutes from your location by car in light traffic.
And look, just that quick, it knows exactly where I want to go. I can just simply hit start there, which is very cool. I'm just going to close that out, of course, because we are not driving anywhere today. But we can also use this system, the Google-based system, for other functions, like, "Hey Google, set driver's temperature to 72 degrees.
Got it. Changing the temperature for the driver to 72 degrees.
Now, it'd probably help if I turned on the system here, but as you can see, it's automatically programmed to 72 degrees right here. So really impressed with that system. And of course, if you do want to use your other maps on there as well, Waze, whoever, Apple Maps, you can do that with our phone projection system. Super easy to use here. Have all of your settings. Of course, you can do a split screen like this. We do have our Sirius XM radio built in as another media option, ability to choose our phone, and a whole bunch of other systems. If we bring up our camera here, you will see our 360-degree camera that is standard on the Tahoe for 2025, which is really such a nice thing to have with a vehicle of this size. You can kind of change the look over here and really get into those spaces nice and tight. Going one last thing to note on here, actually one thing I like too, you have this ledge here. And I think people might find it a little underrated what I'm about to say, but if you're driving, you're moving, the car is bouncing, wiggling around a little, it's nice. If you're going to use the screen, you have a little ledge to give your hand a little bit more leverage and not maybe hit a button on the touchscreen by mistake. Now, standard in the Tahoe LS is a 6-speaker audio system that you get with this model. Of course, if you want to move up to the 8 or the 10 speaker sound system, you can do that in the higher trim levels as well. Now, looking at our physical climate controls here, as you can see, we do have our 2 vents down here as well, a little bit lower than on the previous model, nice and easy to move and adjust. And we have real nice physical controls, big knobs here and buttons here. Unfortunately, the LS model, no heated seats or heated steering wheel are standard on this trim level, but for the price, that's kind of okay. Of course, you were going to move up into an LT to get some of those features. And if we look up top here, we do not have our driver's digital rear view mirror on this model. You can obviously get that on our higher trim levels here. We do have some LED interior illumination, and of course, this nice black headliner that is standard on all Tahoes. We do have our rear bench standard on this model. You cannot get your captain's chairs on this Chevy Tahoe, unfortunately. But honestly, I think it's quite all right. Still super comfortable with the bench back here. Obviously, you have a ton of space. We do have a pretty much flat floor here, so even in the middle, your passenger, you're not straddling a transmission tunnel or anything. It's just real nice and comfortable. We even have our 3-zone rear climate control. So as you can see, we have adjustability for our fan speed and our temperature back here, and 2 USB-C charging outlets as well. Now, looking at the third row, of course, tons of space back here. Of course, if you need a little more cargo room, you can get into the Suburban as well. But we do have our 3 additional seats back here. And of course, as you can see, we have USB-C charging outlets on either side, cup holders as well. Now, before we wrap this video up, let's take a look at the rear cargo area. Unfortunately, no power liftgate on the LS. I might have said that earlier, so I apologize if I did, but you do still have a nice, easy way to get in here. Lots of space back here. Well, maybe not lots, but there is a nice amount of space, especially if we do fold down our rear seats here, if you don't using the third row. And then, of course, if you do need any more, once again, you could step up into the Suburban model where you'll have a lot more rear cargo area. Once again, looking back here, we do have some tie downs right here. We do have a household outlet right there as well, which is really useful. And then a little bit of a storage area beneath here. Now, the price for the 2025 Chevy Tahoe has increased a little bit, but once again, as you've seen in this video, you do get a lot more standard features, all new exterior styling, that beautiful infotainment system on the interior, and some additional safety features that are standard versus the 24 model year. So let me know, what do you think about all of the updates for the 2025 Chevy Tahoe? Once again, I love the styling changes and of course that beautiful new interior, but I want to hear your thoughts as well, especially if you would consider the LS model here, or maybe get into one of the other upper trim levels where you get a few more nice features. So drop a comment below, and if you did enjoy this video, please be sure to hit like, hit subscribe, we much appreciate it, and always check us out online, charperchevy.com.